Mr Speaker, yesterday morning I had the privilege of visiting an organisation called Bridge the Gap, run by a woman called Amanda Betts. And Mr Speaker, that organisation works with our young people, some of whom have come through the SIF system, some of whom have come through the youth justice system, and that organisation focuses on the potential that they have, Mr Speaker. Much of what that organisation does is slightly out of the box, really hard, I was saying to her, for any government agency to kind of put the government agency kind of framework around it, but it is successful, and I could see why, Mr Speaker. It starts with these young people by actually allowing them to have the opportunity to see what their potential is, even physically. Many of them show up in their gangster gears, never really having had anyone role model to them what they need to do when going for a job, how they need to look when going for a job. And this organisation kind of shows them what they have the potential to look like. And that, Mr Speaker, is only one part of it, because we know that there's a whole lot internally that needs to go on, but it does make a difference to their frame of mind and how they feel about themselves. So just reflecting on what we've seen over the last 8 years of a national government, it is incredibly disappointing that we haven't had that same potential-based approach taken by the national government. Instead, what we've had is this deficit approach where they look at our young people, they look at people on benefits, they look at people who are unemployed as liabilities, Mr Speaker. They measure the forward liability of this person. They talk about the risk of long-term welfare dependency. So it's all about that deficit take on human beings rather than what does this person have to offer, what is the value here, what is the potential that needs to be realised, Mr Speaker. Unfortunately, that is not the view that the national government has taken. But what I am grateful for is that on the weekend at the Labour Party conference, our leader, Andrew Little, made it very clear that that is the perspective that we're taking, and that is the way we will be treating our young people. We are looking for the potential, Mr Speaker. Andrew Little talked about the importance of investing in our people. He talked about the importance of investing in our future. He said that Labour, and he meant this, is committed to rising to the challenges that we face, including the challenge of 74,000 young people being unemployed, Mr Speaker, or out of work and training. It is not acceptable that so many young people are out of work and training, Mr Speaker. They are not having their potential realised. They are not being supported by that government. Andrew also went through the many values that Labour has, those values like fairness, Mr Speaker, opportunity, aspiration, our absolute belief in the importance of achievement, but absolute belief also, and once you get there, you also give back. That's what that side of the House all too often seems to forget. So, Mr Speaker, we had an announcement around our ready-to-work policy and the fact that we won't allow 74,000 young people to languish doing nothing, not in employment or training like that side of the House has. And we've had them mock that policy, Mr Speaker. How unfortunate that we've had them mock that policy. But why should we be surprised? Why should we be surprised when the Deputy Prime Minister has been recorded as saying that our young people are pretty damn hopeless? We've had the Prime Minister alluding to the fact that our young people have a problem with drugs, Mr Speaker, and we've had that side of the House put everything back on those young people as it being their fault for not being in employment and training, rather than looking for solutions like this side of the House has, Mr Speaker. This side of the House is about opportunity and making sure that we secure our future by investing in our young people now. So it is about that ready-to-work policy that Andrew Little announced on the weekend, but it's also about the entire comprehensive package that Labour has announced over the last year at least, and probably the many more policies that will go into the next election with, that actually complete that comprehensive package that is about investing in our young people. So as my colleague Grant Robertson had said earlier, it is about our 3 years free post-secondary school tertiary education policy. It is about helping businesses meet the cost of new apprenticeships. It is about ensuring we have professional careers advice in our schools to help our young people make good decisions about work or further study. And it is about things like grants for young Kiwis who might want to start their own businesses, Mr. Speaker. Those are all solutions to a problem that we face. And thank goodness that we've got the leadership over this side of the House to actually do something to deal with the problem of 74,000 young people who are unemployed or not in training, Mr. Speaker.